Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Running a little late, my fault. I'm just on, I don't know, checking out for the weekend already.
Welcome aboard. Yep.
The LB show this morning
That's
on
us.
First News. And with your Facebook Live, of course, Lydia's here before we jump into the forecast and talk about the fog that we were covering this morning. I want to remind you, of course, we're live every weekday morning on Facebook. You can watch it later on your feed anytime, but we also make it into a podcast. So you can go to inform.com/podcast and look for the Inform Minute. Also, you can find us on our Inform YouTube channel. All right, so we want to talk about the all-important weekend forecast, but can you give us an update first on the fog? Because it was so thick in some areas.
So soupy, and it still is in some spots. The Cheyenne River Valley, so think Cooperstown down toward Valley City, still dealing with visibility near zero this morning, and the sun's been up for almost 2 hours, so it's been pretty stubborn. Areas that got a little rain yesterday and then had a clear sky and light winds this morning, it's just the perfect recipe for fog. So slowly getting better. Things look better in Fargo. Now, Grand Forks, I've seen a little uptick in your visibility numbers, so you're moving in the right direction. I'd say within the next hour or so, a lot of that fog is going to be gone. The sun is up, obviously, and then wind out of the northwest today at 10 to 20 kind of helps to just shake things up and move the air.
A little breezy.
Yeah, it'll be a bit on the breezy side. I call it noticeable when it's about that range. So, yeah, a little bit breezy this afternoon. Then we'll wait for thunderstorms to develop later today. Temps get into the 70s, flirting with 80, especially down south, and that'll be enough to kind of trigger some thunderstorms. I think they're going to be pretty spotty, not as widespread as yesterday. But where they do develop, you can have hail up to an inch and then wind gusts near 60 miles an hour. So some of that borderline severe weather possible today. Your severe weather risk lines up from about I-29 and points off to the east into Minnesota. A storm or two is possible back to the west, but you just don't have those severe weather parameters as high as what we're seeing a little bit further to the east. So watch out for that. Otherwise, tomorrow looks lovely.
That's kind of your pick day.
Yes. If you want to do something outside this weekend, I said on First News, if you want to go for a motorcycle ride, if you have yard work to do, those outdoor things, if you're trying to soak up the rest of summer, do them tomorrow. Sunday looks like a soggy day. So tomorrow, partly cloudy, temp near 80. Wind 10 to 15, so you might feel a little bit of a breeze, but not too bad. It should be less than today. And low humidity tomorrow too. And no wildfire smoke. I feel like we've dealt with a lot of that lately.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yes, that is a bonus. I'm not too worried about wildfire smoke for tomorrow. So tomorrow looks great. I have a wedding to go to tomorrow. And we had a wedding last weekend too, and it rained all day long. It was, so I'm looking forward to a drier one this time. And then the rain starts to move in Saturday night, and then lasts off and on throughout the day on Sunday. Some embedded thunder, but no severe weather expected with that. Just kind of looks like a soggier, cooler day for Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. And, looking at the 10-day, because that, we get these 70s and people are worried fall is here, but we do have a few warm days on
Yes, I have close to 80 on Monday, into the 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday, even upper 80s on Tuesday. That day does come with a thunderstorm chance, of course. I mean, if we're going to heat things up a little bit, that storm chance is there. So,
and not that you memorized all of the rain totals, but we did get some rain, and some people got like hardly anything, and others did get a little bit.
Yeah, so at Horace, which is, a little to the southwest of Fargo, it's basically like southwest Fargo now, they had almost 4/10. At our rain gauge here at the station, we had 7/100 of an inch. So a lot less this way, a lot more that way. Otter Tail County got a good soaking, over 1.5 inches in Fergus Falls. Underwood had over an inch. Yes, they did need that. So some decent rain in spots yesterday, and then more opportunities on your 10-day forecast. One today, another one on Sunday. Sunday, I think some spots could get a decent soaking. It looks like a big widespread one.
Wish it wasn't on the weekend, but a lot of people still need it, so that's okay.
If you watch this Facebook Live every day and you know Scott, our anchor, it's his birthday tomorrow. So if you want to go wish him a happy birthday, I'm sure he would love that.
And that's why he's off today.
He's why he's
celebrating his weekend birthday.
Yes,
birthday weekend.
We love birthdays around here. So we're wishing him a happy birthday, and we're holding down the fort without him.
We'll cover for him. It's his birthday weekend. All right, thank you, Lydia. Thanks. All right, let's jump into some of our news headlines this morning. We're also going to talk about a lot of the weekend events as well here in a moment. But first, a big story that we're tracking, new developments for you. A man arrested in connection with a murder in West Fargo could be in court as soon as today. We do have a team tracking this story and will be in court if that does happen. Police arrested 31-year-old Spencer Moen on suspicion of murder after a woman was found dead inside a home on Eaglewood Avenue West in West Fargo. That's an area, it's west of Cheyenne, not too far from the West Fargo Sports Arena. West Fargo police initially got a call yesterday morning about a medical incident. They then arrested Moen, they say based on evidence found inside that home. We have done some digging for you on this story, and this is not Moen's first run-in with police. We now know that back in 2019, he was charged with aggravated assault after he was accused of hitting and strangling his father. That case was actually thrown out in 2020. Back to this current case, West Fargo police tell WDAY that they believe this is an isolated incident and that there's no current threat to the public. But of course, we are working on finding more information out on that story, so stick with us throughout the day for updates. We're also tracking updates to a lawsuit between Sanford Health and Monarch Waste Facilities. This is a story that really had big headlines, with attention-grabbing headlines, I should say, as well. New documents from the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality detailed repeated violations at Fargo's medical waste facility. We first reported here on WDAY in June that Dallas-based Monarch is suing Sanford Health, claiming they breached their contract by sending a human torso to a Fargo medical waste facility. Well, the complaint was filed with the Department of Environmental Quality. We now have access to those documents. We've been digging through them, and we now have a timeline of the department's inspections. The report shows inspectors found a pretty lengthy list of violations, including not properly handling, storing, or transporting medical waste. You can read a lot more on these updates and those documents online. Just go to inforum.com, a very interesting read for you this morning. A new recall you should be aware of as well. It includes an item that was sold in Minnesota. It's going to have you checking your freezer before you eat any ice cream this weekend. The FDA thinks a multi-state listeria outbreak may be connected to real kosher ice cream cups. They were sold in 19 states, like I mentioned, also in Minnesota. So far, 2 people have been hospitalized. Investigators tested an unopened container of soft serve on the go from one of the patient's freezers, and it did test positive for that bacteria. The University of Jamestown is hoping new teacher scholarships will help combat a shortage of teachers. The Teacher Education Scholarship will give any student majoring in elementary or secondary elementary education $13,000 a year. Their only requirement is that students must maintain at least a 3.0 GPA. The university says it hopes the scholarship will not only attract new students, but also help fill North Dakota's rising need for teachers. This scholarship is available now to new students starting in the fall of 2024. All right, I told you, I promised we were going to run down some of the events, not even all of them. So if you're hearing someone say there's nothing to do this weekend, that's a lie. Lots going on. Starting today, Kindred Day celebration is kicking off. It starts today with Farm Fun Friday. A lot of activities for the kids, but that's just a start. If you want a full list of times and the events, activities, just go to kindreddays.com. In DL, today is the first day of DL's 24th annual Rotary Peach Sale. Starting at noon today, you can buy peaches freshly shipped from Washington State straight to DL. They're going to be sold at the parking lot of Nearson's Automotive. Same time, same place tomorrow as well, while supplies last. The Fargo Dome is going to be rocking tonight, maybe even this afternoon. It starts early. I'll get to that in a minute. Def Leppard and Motley Crue happening at the Fargo Dome. The concert starts a little earlier than normal. Doors actually open at 4. The concert starts at 5:45. We checked this morning. There are still tickets available. Also, Fargo Moorhead Pride continues today as well. There are 2 events tonight. The Youth Pride Drag Show, that's happening at the Comstock Memorial Union Ballroom at MSU Moorhead at 7 tonight. Then at 10 at the Avalon Event Center in Fargo, there's going to be a Pride dance party. That's just for tonight. Of course, there's a 5K run tomorrow morning, the big parade's on Sunday. You can check out the full schedule at fargopride.com. And if you watched First News this morning, you know there's a lot going on out at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds as well. So you can check out that list. We're talking about Renaissance Fair, another Renaissance Fair at the Fargo Horse Park, Food Truck Festival. So check out the websites there if you're looking to head to the fairgrounds, because lots going on this weekend. Almost too many things to even cover for you. All right, I want to head back to our national news headlines here, though, before I let you go. To date, former President Donald Trump's January 6th case will be back in front of a judge today. Trump will not be in the courtroom as the judge considers restricting what he can or cannot say about the case. Prosecutors have proposed a protective order be put in place that would stop him from disclosing evidence or talking about witnesses ahead of his trial. And of course, another big story we've been tracking for you, the fires in Hawaii. The death toll has now risen even higher in Maui. Right now we know 55 people have been found dead, and we know right now National Guard members are still conducting water drops and searching for survivors. Now also already they're turning to recovery, and we're hearing just how widespread the devastation is, how expensive it will be to recover, and how long it could take to recover as well. Hot Mike's coming up here, 9 to 11 on WDAY Extra and Inform.com. Maybe you stayed up late and watched the game. The Vikings made their preseason debut late last night in Seattle. Of course, Dom's going to have a recap of how some of the rookies fared in their first game. Plus, a huge story for Fargo. The Fargo Little Leaguers are just a win away now from the Little League World Series. We're going to check in with the team in Indianapolis 90 minutes before the first pitch. We know that game is at noon today, so be sure to tune in. Join Dom this morning, 9 to 11 on WDAY Extra. And remember, we have you covered here as well. We're going to be going live with our next newscast at 11 this morning, and then this afternoon, leading into your weekend, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Have a great weekend, everyone.